Hey everybody, Andrew the Pet Guy here. Wanted to talk to you a little today about detoxification and the role that fresh, clean water can play to help our pets do that. If you watched my last video, then you'll know that if you watched my last video on dry pet food, then you'll know that there are lots and lots of toxins that our pets are dealing with on a daily basis, from the very low quality meat that's been treated with all kinds of antibiotics and hormones and that is generally unhealthy, from the produce and all the pesticides being used in there. So because of these things, it's extra important, in my opinion, that our pets have access to fresh, clean water every single day, no matter what. I've spoken in the past about the importance of pouring fresh water for our pets to encourage them to drink, and how the water should not be left to stagnate too long. But I haven't spoken yet about how important it is for that water to be clean. Most people I know give their pets tap water, or sometimes water that's been filtered through their fridge. These types of filters are those pure, like water pitcher filters that have the charcoal filter. Those can be very helpful in removing some impurities, but when you look at what's actually in the tap water, those types of filters just do not do the job, and we can't rely on filters to take out all these impurities. We need purifiers, and there is a difference between filtering and purifying, and that difference is the amount of toxins that are actually removed. The tap water, I've spoken a little about this in other videos, but I encourage you to look up what is found in tap water, because it's ridiculous. There are, first of all, fecal matter, urine metabolites, there's chlorine, all kinds of things to kill bacteria. But one of the biggest problems that I think is in there are the pharmaceutical metabolites, such as there's a large segment of women out there on birth control pills, and guess what? There's birth control pills in your water. There's a lot of people out there on antibiotics, and guess what? There's antibiotics in our water. These are due to the fact that they have been metabolized by humans' bodies, and then they are excreted out into the toilets, where they are flushed and enter back into the water supply. And these things are not removed before coming back around as our drinking water from the tap. I know this sounds absolutely disgusting, and it is. So, unless we want to be adding to the toxic burden that our pets are on from all the toxins in their food, then we need to make sure that the water they're drinking is free from these things. And most of us know this. Most of us do not want to drink this water ourselves, and we buy a lot of bottled water and things, but our pets are still getting this very toxic water. The toxic soup is a good description. Not only is this water very toxic, but a lot of the stuff in it kills bacteria, which sounds good because there is a lot of harmful bacteria that would be there otherwise, but these are also going to decimate the living microbes that are supposed to be in the digestive tract of ourselves and our animals, the gut biome, that do so much for us. The more they're studied, the more it's realized how important these probiotics are, how they help us digest but do so much more, how they're important for things like serotonin production, so we can have healthy moods and be happy, and so much more. And the truth is, these things are just, the studying of these probiotics is just in its infancy. It's only in recent years that we even know about these things. You may hear about how good a certain strain is for you, like the acidophilus or acidophilus, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but that's because that strain has been studied. There are so many more that have not been studied, and science does not know everything yet. We do not yet know just how important these things are for us. And we do not want the water we're drinking and the food we're eating, or our pets, to be killing off these microbes that are beneficial for our health. The one thing you're probably going to hear me talk about over and over again on this channel is how important digestion is to the health of our animals. So, to be giving them water and food that is killing the gut bacteria is extremely detrimental to long-term overall health, in my opinion. Digestion is key. Probiotics are key. So we don't want water with chlorine. We do not want food with glyphosate. Because even if we're taking in probiotics, or our pets are, then they're just going to be killed right away, and we're going to lose that benefit. Detoxification is very important, not only because when you have these things in your system, is it actively poisoning you, but it also bogs down things like the immune system, and it forces the body to use extra resources in order to deal with these things that otherwise it would be going to run the organs and to make fresh blood and all the things the body does. Basically, it's a stressor, and we know that too much stress can be very harmful, and that's one of the reasons is because it uses up the valuable resources. These resources we have to take in from food and from water, and if you watched my last video, then you know that our animals are not getting enough of these resources anyway. They're not getting enough vitamins and minerals to completely run the systems long term. And believe it or not, when the body is forced to use these resources for things other than running its systems, then that does shave life off. It's going to shorten the life of the organism. So it's really important that the body is not using these resources in order to keep itself healthy just because they're taking in things that shouldn't be there. So we want to encourage the passing through the system of these harmful elements so the body can focus on doing what it really wants to do, and that's keep itself healthy and in homeostasis. There's one other source of harmful toxins that our pets deal with a lot more than we do that I want to mention, and that is vaccines, which are preserved with mercury and formaldehyde and things that we know are very, very harmful for biological systems. And for this reason, it's even more important that our pets have access to fresh, clean water. Not only can water itself help flush out these toxins from our system, but if we're careful about how our water is treated before we drink, we can actually boost the amount of detoxification that takes place. The water that I give my pets is the same water that I myself drink, and I make it myself. I take tap water, I vapor distill it, and then I run it through several layers of earth. After it's vapor distilled, it's perfectly purified. You're left with nothing but pure H2O. And then I run it through layers of activated charcoal, through zeolite clay, far infrared beads, silica sand, and some of these things like the zeolite and the charcoal. At this point, since the water is perfectly purified, the charcoal isn't pulling stuff out of the water is actually picking up the charcoal and the clay. So every time I or my animals drink this water, those things enter the system in trace amounts and detoxify from the inside out. And they do this through the fact that they have a very strong negative charge. I've talked about this before on the video on the importance of giving your pets fresh water daily, that things that have a negative charge are good for the body generally, things with a positive charge are bad, and these radioactive elements, these heavy metals, these viruses, things like this are all positively charged, and when we consume things like the clay or the charcoal that are negative charged, they act to pull out the positive charged things causing harm from the body and allow them to be bound up and safely pass through the digestive system. So in this way we can do more than water would actually on its own. I think I'm going to stop this here now. Trying to keep it short. Please let me know in the comments below if you would like to see a video on how I actually make my water. It's not difficult. I save a tremendous amount of money versus buying bottled water all the time, and I get a much, much better product that does not touch plastic. It does not have anything in there that it's not supposed to be. It's perfectly remineralized. Basically, it's like a mock spring water. I can teach you how to do that with a minimal investment. If this is something you'd like to see, let me know. Please join the discussion. Let me hear your experience with your pets. Please like, comment, and subscribe to help this information reach more people. I thank you very much. All the best to you and your pets.